Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Balita Verzosa. President Bongbong Marcos's approval and trust rating slightly dipped in the latest Pulse Asia survey. The president's approval rating is now at 53%, down from 55% in the previous survey in March. His trust rating decreased to 52%, which is 5% lower from the March survey. Meanwhile, more people trust Vice President Sara Duterte. Her approval rating improved to 69%, while her trust rating is at 71%. Pulse Asia says the difference in the then and now ratings of top officials is not significant. Research Director Ana Tabunda says people don't think that recent political issues are relevant to their performances.
Perhaps the events that happened are not considered relevant to the performance of the officials, but that could be the reason.
Tabunda adds that the behavior of the Dutertes did not seem to affect Vice President Sara Duterte's ratings this time.
The ratings of VP Duterte have not moved from the previous round in March. So it doesn't seem to be a factor na tumahimik yung father niya at saka yung brothers niya.
The timeline of the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump is becoming clearer with newly released details. These revelations show the gunman's actions on that day and suggest how he managed to bypass security. Here's the report.
How does that happen?
New information shows how a gunman evaded security and shot former President Donald Trump Saturday. Law enforcement officials say he'd asked for the day off work. They say he came to the rally with a rangefinder.
It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long-distance shot.
It's not a weapon, so security let him through.
But they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for?
Investigators say the would-be assassin then exited the secured area. They're not sure where he went, but they think he got a rifle from his car. Climbing on an air conditioning unit is likely how he got on a roof outside the perimeter. That's according to a senior federal law enforcement official.
He's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter-sniper positions. And one of the counter-sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him.
Another official says that's about when witnesses saw him and alerted police. Video analysis shows the shooting started about 2 minutes later.
I went there to have a nice time with my family, and then the unthinkable happened due to a complete breach and lapse of security.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. Business groups express support for a total ban on POGO operations, which are being linked to illegal activities in the country. According to the Philippine Star, the groups include the Makati Business Club, Alianza Agricultura, and Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines, among others. The groups say POGO investments' contribution to the Philippine economy is minimal. And in business world, the Securities and Exchange Commission will start sharing its data with the BIR to help the government improve tax collections. This will allow the BIR to access SEC documents needed for tax assessments and collections. On the other hand, the SEC will also be provided with tax identification number verification to improve monitoring of the capital market. The Maritime Zones bill is one step closer to becoming a law after getting approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee. Meanwhile, the Philippines and China have agreed on a new deal to improve communication on maritime issues. Here's the report.
The proposed Maritime Zones bill, which defines the extent of Philippine waters, has been approved by a bicameral conference committee. Senate Majority Leader Senator Francis Tolentino, the bill's principal author, said the final version of the proposed Philippine Maritime Zones Act included Palawan and the Philippine Rise.
Points ay sinama natin yung sa Palawan, sinama natin yung sa Philippine Rise. Tapos nireconcile natin yung provision ng internal waters at saka archipelagic waters, which is legal and technical. Doon lang nagkaroon ng ano. Okay na ngayon. Okay na ngayon. So for signing na rin yun ni Presidente kasi sinabi niyo yun dati sa Singapore na kailangan i-approve na.
Tolentino said this is a milestone not only because it clarifies the country's maritime boundaries but also reaffirms its rights over its waters.
Maliwanag yun na may batas tayo na kung saan tayo pwedeng maglayag, pwedeng mangisda. Kagaya nung pinuntahan ko kahapon, nandun ako dun sa nawawalang mangingisda sa Zambales. Hanggang hindi ko nakikita, 14 days na.
The senator is not certain if President Bongbong Marcos could sign the newly approved bill by Monday, but he could possibly mention it in his State of the Nation address. Chinese ships are still quite visible in parts of the West Philippine Sea. Recently, the PCG ship BRP Teresa Magbanwa spotted the China Coast Guard vessel 5901, dubbed the Monster Ship, in Escoda or Sabina Shoal. The PCG has been monitoring it since it was first spotted in the area on July 3.
The China Coast Guard Monster Ship remains to be inside the Escoda Shoal. It never departed and still anchored there.
Based on the Philippine map, Escoda Shoal is only 71 nautical miles or just over 100 kilometers from Palawan, well within the country's EEZ. The PCG says it challenged the monster ship several times, but it remains anchored there.
Almost every hour kapag ay kita namin may ginagawa sila. But the same thing, as I said, they're also going to challenge us back and then claim sovereignty also in Escoda Shoal. Again, it's not just sovereign rights that they're claiming. The weird part is that whenever they challenge us of this China Coast Guard monster ship, they're even claiming that they have full sovereignty in Escoda Shoal.
Also on July 14, another one, a 135-meter CCG ship with hull number 5303, was spotted near Lubang Island, which was just 40 kilometers west of Batangas. Still, there has been some progress on Philippines-China bilateral ties. The two recently established a new mechanism that allows the presidential offices of both countries to call each other through an emergency hotline. The Foreign Affairs Department confirmed that the arrangement provides Beijing and Manila various channels for communication to settle maritime issues. The accord, which was first reported by the Associated Press, was signed during the bilateral consultation mechanism held in Manila earlier in July. It provides for direct lines of communication between representatives of the presidents of the Philippines and China, as well as the DFA and China's Foreign Affairs Ministry. The accord, once in effect, will also activate a communication channel between the Philippine Coast Guard and the Chinese Coast Guard. While all of this was going on, the AFP confirmed that U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Air Force General Charles Q. Brown Jr. arrived in the country on Tuesday. Brown is set to conduct engagements with AFP Chief Romeo Browner Jr. and other military officials.
Pinapakita nito na yung sinasabi nila na solid yung commitment ng US in this alliance, no. If you look at the activities that are happening, continuous naman tayo sa lahat ng mga activities that are involving the US.
Brown is also set to visit one of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement or EDCA sites of the Philippines and the US. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Strong Group Athletics Philippines dismantles Malaysia in the 2024 William Jones Cup with a final score 89-54. Chris McCullough delivered a total of 16 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. Renzo Bando tallied 14 points and 10 rebounds, while Ange Kwame put up 11 points and 10 rebounds in the win. The Philippines continues its sweep, keeping their place among the top of the 9th squad tournament. Our Olympian boxers continued their intense training in Saarbrücken, Germany, days before the Paris Olympics. And with them are their sparring partners who flew all the way from the Philippines. Carlo Pamintuan has the report.
It was a very busy day for the Philippine boxing team, especially for the training partners who just flew in from the Philippines. Norlan Petesio and Jun Milardo Ogaire sparred with Nesty Petesio and Ira Villegas in Metz, France in the morning, and then they traveled to Saarbrücken, Germany to do the same with Carlo Paalam and Hergy Bacyaran.
Pakalaking tulong both for our men and men's and women's teams. So, push natin ang ating mga Olympic boxers kasi naman yung reason why you're here. And yun, salamat ulit na nakapunta kayo. Alam ko nag-sparring na rin kayo kanina, but ngayon kakarating nyo lang spar na ulit. So we appreciate it. And sige, push natin. Let's bring the best out of Hergy and Carlo for this afternoon. Definitely, before coming here, talagang actually nasa Manila pa lang, we always show our appreciation dun sa mga training partners. Kasi kung wala sila, hindi rin talaga mapupush yung mga boxers natin. So kaya every time rin yung mga boxers, they experience success. Yan, sina Nesty, sina Carlo, isa sa mga pinapasalamatan talaga nila yung mga training partners nila.
Sarap. Pagod pero masaya. And exposure din to para sa amin na kahit na yun nga nakakapagod, doon pa rin yung saya na makatulong kami sa mga teammates namin na para sa darating na Olympics.
Isiyan mo yung
Sa akin po, wala akong iniisip na pagod kasi tulong yung pinunta ko dito para sa mga ka-teammates ko.
Pero sa akin talaga, the best talaga sa akin makapartner ng lalaki. Kasi parang yun na yung advantage ko sa ring. Wala na akong nararamdaman, manhid na yung mukha ko kasi sa lalaki pa lang manhid na yung mukha ko eh. Kaya sobrang laking tulong talaga ng mga lalaki talagang makapartner talaga. Kasi iba yung dala sa ring pagka sila yung ka-sparring mo. Manggagaling ka sa kanila mag-spar hanggang sa makikipag-spar ka sa babae. Parang na lang eh, yung reflex, yung power, parang na-adapt mo na eh, parang gano'n.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Pauline Berzosa. We are One News.